What's up everyone, my name's Christian, the Translink King. Today I'm driving the 72 stop from Stonebridge Park to Queen's Park. Next station after Stonebridge Park will be, wait for it, Harlesden. This is the London Underground Bakerloo line train, and I'm starting slowly, and this is a snowstorm from Stonebridge Park to Queen's Park. This route is the West Coast Main Line route, section between Harrow, Wealdstone to Queen's Park. And this is the 72 stock Bakerloo line train. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on social media, and hope you enjoy this video. We're shortly arriving at Harlesden station. This is a 7-car Bakerloo line train, sharing sections between Harrow, Willesden and Queen's Park. We're now arriving at Harlesden station on the left hand side in Translink. There he is, Harlesden station. Now here at Harlesden station, there's the 72 stock. A bunch of passengers are getting on and off. Oh, time to depart. Next station, Willesden Junction. Change here for London Overground services to Stratford, Richmond and Clapham Junction. We're now arriving at Willesden Junction station on the right hand side on the West Coast Main Line route, London Underground Bakerloo line service. There's Class 710, there's Willesden Junction. Now approaching the station. We're now at Wealdstone Junction station. Time to get back to the cab, and we're going to lock the doors. Honk the horn. Next station, Kensal Green. There's another 72 stock. I think it's heading to Stonebridge Park or Harrow Willesden station. There's another Pendolino train. I meant a Pendolino train. We'll be shortly arriving at Kensal Green station. Now we're at Kensal Green station. We're at Kensal Green station. Next stop is Queen's Park, where this train in Translink World terminates at Queen's Park, and AI driver will be taking over to Elephant and Castle. There's the 72 stop. Next station, Queen's Park. There we go, the signal has changed. Now we're on our way to Queen's Park station on the Bakerloo line, where this train will be going as far as Queen's Park. now approaching Queen's Park Station. We're now passing the shed where trains on the Bakerloo line terminate at Queen's Park. And now we're approaching Queen's Park Station. Now here at Queen's Park Station, where this train terminates in Translink World, and this train will be going to Elephant and Castle. Alright, we're here at Queen's Park Station. There's another 72 stock just terminating at Queen's Park Station from Elephant and Castle. Alright, if you like this video, don't forget to give me a like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is Christian the Translink King signing off, and hope did you enjoy this video. Comment down below if you like this video, or if you don't like it, I'll try my best I did. Anyways, like, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.